Before we go, I had a real quick question also. I just thought about it actually. We was talking about Benny the Butcher earlier, and we was of course I brought up Freddie Gibbs and how Freddie Gibbs I feel like is better than Benny. And I feel like for those two rappers in particular, like Freddie and Benny, what I see for them is kind of what I was hoping I was going to see from Nipsey Hussle before he passed. When Victory Lap came out, he was starting to get that recognition, and I felt like after Nipsey passed, the door opened for Meek Mill to kind of be, you know what I'm saying, the quote unquote gangster rapper of the, you know what I'm saying, that holds that flag and kind of carries that. But I feel like if Benny the Butcher or Freddie Gibbs can get the same look as Meek, I think they're better than Meek. Do you agree?
If Benny the Butcher or Freddie Gibbs get the same look as Meek, you think they're better than Meek? What do you mean by that? I don't know if I understand.
Because right now, like I think, I mean, you can put Benny and Freddie over Meek if you want to right now, of course. But I feel like Meek has been blessed with like the production on like wins and losses and championships. The features on those two albums are so they're just elevated level. They're on the it's a next level up than what we've seen from Benny and Freddie so far. So I feel like when they get that commercial, when they get to make that commercial album, I wish it can. I feel like they can do a Meek Mill status. It deserves to be in the same realm as Meek. And I think if you broke down rap into tiers, that top tier is the Drake, Cole, Kendricks. The second tier, we get to like Meek and Future and a few artists like that. And I think Benny and Freddie are still in that third tier, kind of, you know, that not necessarily mainstream, but still better than most of the quote unquote underground.
I got you. I think I understand. So, that's tough. But what I will say is, I'll be honest, I don't think I even want Benny the Butcher or Freddie Gibbs. Maybe Freddie, but definitely not Benny the Butcher. I don't want him to go too far off from where he's at musically. I don't want to hear no mainstream music from Benny the Butcher. I'm just being honest.
I'm pretty sure we're gonna get a Benny and Drake song in the future.
I don't want that shit. That's going to
happen.
The only way I'm going to be cool with it in my mind, and of course I could be wild and he could put out some shit that I'm just going to love, if Drake comes into Benny the Butcher's world musically.
Oh, that would have to happen. I feel like that's the only way that could work. Yeah.
I don't want to hear no Benny now going using auto-tune, him using melodies.
That'd be tragic.
But these dudes, but they do it though. Like they do it because they get in the look and they feel like they're trying to expand their base and get different people under their fan base and shit like that.
Yeah.
And personally, I don't want to see it. I can see Freddie getting that mainstream appeal because it seems more natural for him.
I need a Freddie and Cole track. I need a Freddie and Cole track yesterday.
That would snap. That would go hard.
I need that yesterday. I need that.
But I will say this about Meek though. The main difference between Meek and Benny the Butcher and the Freddie for that matter that you're talking about, I feel like Meek, his superpower is the energy. He brings the energy. That's what we love Meek for. Like, it's not a coincidence that the best song that he's ever put out in his career, at least the one that resonates with the masses, is that intro.
Yeah.
Right? What was he doing? What was he doing on that intro? It was just straight energy. Going from here, there, just and that's not to say that Meek can't spit, because he can. I mean, if you listen to his last album, Championships, he goes into these different subjects where he's breaking down his life story. He's telling stories. He may not give you metaphors at a rate in which Benny and all these other dudes are doing it more consistently, but Meek is more of a mainstream artist because he doesn't dive deep into that life and that bag on a consistent basis, and he brings the energy, which is what people want. That's what people want for the most part. People want the energy, and I'm not sure if Benny can even get to Meek's status. What I mean by that is not talent-wise.
Oh no,
I'm talking about in the masses. I ain't talking about talent.
Oh yeah, I don't think he can get to Meek's status necessarily as far as like mainstream success goes, but I think he can definitely find itself in the same rooms or in the same conversations simply because of the Jay-Z cosign. Like that Jay-Z cosign carries some weight. Like I think that's
100%.
That can get Benny, like Ross being on this album, like gave me like, I guess if Benny can get people to come to his world, he can have that success for years to come. But like you said, I can't see Benny going into. I can't even see Benny going into the Meek's world, let alone Drake's world.
Not at all.
I don't see it in him.
And Meek has had a diverse world. Let's be real. Like when he was with Nicki, he was doing pop records.
Straight up. Chris Brown record.
Like that was super mainstream, but he pulled it off though.
What's your name? My name Nick. All that shit. Yeah.
I mean, he pulled it off. I mean, I'm not replaying that joint, but it was cool for what it was. You know what I'm saying? It was cool for what it was.
And honestly, that album is so simple. That's my favorite Meek album by far. Wins and Losses. That album still is. A lot of them records are still in rotation. I feel like Meek just went to jail right when that was coming out, so he didn't get enough recognition for real. But that album, to me, when that album came out, I was like, "Oh, Meek is number 4." And for like a good 2 years, he was number 4 to me, behind in that era of Drake, Kendrick, Cole. Like I feel like he took that 4th spot like after Nipsey had passed, and he like claimed that throne pretty heavily to me. I think he far passed the Wale's and Big Sean's.
Yeah. So I got one question for you that I've been meaning to ask you, but before we get into that real quick. You still good on time?
I'm still good.
Chilling?
Yeah. I'm still chilling. Yeah.
So, if I'm not mistaken, Wins and Losses was the album that he dropped in the climate in the midst of that whole Drake beef, right? That was the one where he basically was like he was getting thrown darts at in the media. People was doubting him, and he came out with that. That album was a statement. I remember that. That was a statement album.
That was the one. 1942 flows.
You're right,
Heavy
man.
Heart, that album.
That shit was hard.
That's a strong album.
Hard. But I'll be honest though, while I think that is his best album, I'll say one of my favorite, and I don't even think he considers this album, probably more of a mixtape, is DC4.
Yeah, that's a tough one too.
DC4 is tough. Like every single song.
Is that what Liddy? Is Liddy on there?
Liddy was on that joint. Oh my God. He got Liddy, Blue Notes. Offended 21 and Young Thug. Like a lot of these joints they just go crazy.
And that was right before Wins and Losses, or right after it?
No, that was before.
Before it were. That was also during the beef kind of. That was also kind of during that beef.
Yeah, because I remember they were throwing darts at each other. This one came out 2016, but
that's the smartest thing Meek ever did. Like Meek, when he lost that beef to Drake, he kind of stopped talking about he didn't keep it in his raps. He didn't like throw side jabs at Drake. He just kind of moved on from it and took his L and kept pushing. That's the smartest thing he could have did. Because man, oh man, that boy tried to kill your career, boy. He tried to get you out of here, Meek. Man, that was ugly. That was an ugly sight to watch.
He definitely did, man. That's crazy. But
I remember when Meek dropped it. I remember when his diss record dropped. I remember when he actually dropped the diss record finally after back to back.
That shit was trash. It was trash.
You should have kept that.
That was trash.
Why did you release this?
Only thing I remember is him trying to expose Drake for getting slapped by Diddy or T.I. or somebody. I can't remember who it was. Yeah, but he was like, "Yo, they bitched you. They bitch slapped you." Yeah, and I'm like, "Yo, nobody cares. Nobody cares anymore." Yeah.
No one cares.
You lost. You lost. It's cool. Take your loss. Take your ball and go home. Take your ball and go home.
I have never heard of a diss record like that. Like Hit 'Em Up was kind of a hit. But Back to Back was a certified, like Grammy nominated hit. He got a Grammy nod for dissing you. That is horrible. Like, you know how, man, that's ego death right there. That is ego death.
It was. I can understand why Meek was on drugs heavy at the time.
Man,
he probably needed that shit to cope with like a lot of the shit that was happening at that time.
And then your girlfriend is Nicki Minaj on top of that, so you know she's. The stress had to be at an all-time high. And then you going to jail on top of that? Like, man, can I get a break?
Nah, that was tough. That's tough. That
was a tough. I was like watching the train wreck, bro. That was a crazy time, man.
But I ain't gonna lie. I'm as well as we know he lost that in legendary fashion. Like that might have been the worst loss in a rap battle I've ever seen.
Man, ever.
He came back strong though. I gotta give him props. Like the way they flipped that whole him going to jail, him being unjustly put in jail, and that was dope. I like that a lot.
This is gonna be a harsh statement, but and fuck the judge and fuck the police that did him dirty and put him in that situation for all them years. But man, going to jail saved his rap career. Like, honest to God, because when him being treated so unjustly by the police and the judge, that was a much bigger picture. Like, fuck this rap shit. Like, this man's life is on the line because he popping willies in New York. Like, this is what we're talking about right now. Like, this is the crime.
Right. You're right. That might have saved his rap career.
He literally did. Because then after he came out of jail, like he had the legendary, like he went from jail to the Sixers playoff game, and then he had a song with Jay-Z and Rick Ross flipping a Biggie song. Like he flipped
What's free?
Yeah,
What's free?
Yeah,
that was tough. That was tough.
And man,
that was tough.
Yeah.
Now you're right, man. You got a point. I never even thought about it like that. That might have saved his career for real. I never thought about it.